What's up, April here, and welcome back to The Struggle is Real, my YouTube channel where I do TV and movie reactions and reviews, all for your viewing pleasure. And also mine. Today I'll be reviewing episode 1 of the new Netflix show Wednesday, based off of the character Wednesday Addams from The Addams Family. Now, for those of you that don't know, The Addams Family was originally a comic strip within the New Yorker magazine, started in about the 1930s, and it was popularized in the 1960s in a television series. Then it gained a little bit more traction in the 1990s when a series of movies came out. So this show on Netflix is specifically focusing on Wednesday, which in the show is the eldest daughter of Morticia and Gomez Addams. Now, just a disclaimer, I am actually a huge fan of the Addams Family. I'm a fan of the 1960s show, and I'm a fan of the movies in the 90s with Angelica Houston, Raul Julia, and Christina Ricci, Christopher Lloyd. That series was a part of my childhood, and I love it so much. So watching this show, I did have some expectations, I'm not even gonna lie, going into it. So the premise of this series is that Wednesday, who's played by actress Jenny Ortega, is transferred from her normal high school after she does a prank, which injures a couple of people, to Nevermore Academy, which is a school specifically for outcasts, weirdos, freaks, non-humans, and the like. So she's dropped off to Nevermore Academy by her parents, Morticia and Gomez Addams, who were played by Catherine Zeta-Jones and Luis Guzman, respectively, and her younger brother, Pugsley, played by actor Isaac Ordonez. Now, off the bat, I was slightly concerned. The show opened in a really great way with the prank, which I thought was very, very on brand for Wednesday's character in general. But where I was a little bit thrown off, I must admit, was by the character of Pugsley. Now, traditionally in different iterations of the Addams Family, Pugsley was actually the oldest child of the Addams Family, and Wednesday was the youngest or middle child, depending on what you're looking at. But in this iteration, Wednesday is the oldest and Pugsley is younger. Now, that's actually not the problem here. The issue was the portrayal of Pugsley and the characterization of him. They almost made his character a little bit whiny and helpless and feeble, which in any characterization of Pugsley that's been brought forth thus far, he's never been that. Mischievous, yes. A bit dim-witted, okay. Aloof, possibly. But feeble and wimpy, that I didn't really agree with. So that was a little bit of an off-putting thing for me, but the show is not about Pugsley, it is about Wednesday. So as the show went on and the characters and supporting characters in Nevermore Academy were introduced, the cast itself was absolutely lovely. You have Gwendolyn Christie, who we all know as Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. Christina Ricci was also in the cast, playing a professor at Nevermore Academy. The supporting cast of characters and the actors and actresses that were cast, from the professors and the therapists and the other students in Nevermore, were actually great, and I'm looking forward to seeing where those stories are going to go. The problems that I actually had were with the characters that have the Addams Family name almost. I thought that Catherine Zeta-Jones was good as Morticia. I'm interested to see how they're going to develop her character further, but from first looks, I thought she did a great job. Luis Guzman as Gomez, I also had a bit of an issue with, mainly because in other iterations of Gomez, the character of Gomez Addams has always been zealous. He's always had such joie de vivre about him, you know? He's always been obviously super passionate about his relationship with Morticia. She is the love of his life. And you do see a little bit of their relationship, just a small glimpse in episode 1 and how they interact. But I almost felt like the interaction or his character was a bit muted. Gomez has always been super passionate about everything that he was involved in, from his love of Morticia to his children, his fencing, his family, his love of music and law, and I felt like that was a little bit muted, and the portrayal of him was a little bit dimmed down almost. Now, once again, just like with the portrayal of Pugsley, the show is not about them, the show is about Wednesday, but I did note that, and because that character is lacking a little bit for me, and I know that Luis Guzman is definitely capable of doing Gomez Addams justice, that is something that I'm hoping that they build on in future episodes. Now, as for the portrayal of Wednesday, I love Jenny Ortega, and I'm actually super glad that she was cast as Wednesday. I know that she's absolutely gonna kill this, but as I was watching it, I almost felt like her portrayal of Wednesday was like too emotive. I know that sounds crazy, but Wednesday is such an iconic character, and she's really dark and pensive and macabre, and I almost feel like her scenes were a bit too emotive. Now, the show does have a voiceover in which she's narrating, and the voiceover is completely fine, but I almost feel like in the scenes that she's doing with other characters, the character of Wednesday it's almost too much. And I know that sounds crazy. She's not overacting. There's just a little bit too much emotion for what this character specifically denotes, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. Everyone has theirs, but I do feel like she's emoting a little bit too much. Now, with that being said, this is an older iteration of Wednesday's character. All other previous iterations of Wednesday have been a little bit younger. So with an older character, you do have more emotions. I mean, she is a teenage girl in high school in a new environment. So there is going to be a bit of growing pains with that. But I do feel like the character has a little bit more to give in terms of that actual portrayal. And so I'm looking forward to that in some subsequent episodes. Now, in terms of the rest of the cast and the actual plot of the show, I absolutely love it. The plot in and of itself, outside of Wednesday being dumped at this new school against her will, is that there's killings by a monster and no one really knows what that is. And the parallel between the school of outcasts and this town full of normal people and how they consistently butt heads. Now, I think the plot of the show overall, at least for this first episode, was really good. And I look forward to seeing it grow. And I think the plot's gonna be really great for the rest of the season. But I do feel like the characterization of these iconic characters do leave a bit to be desired. And for the new characters, I think everyone's doing a great job, and I'm really looking forward to see how those storylines are developed. So overall, I'd say that the show for the first episode is interesting enough for me to continue on with the rest of the season, but I do have my eyebrow raised. I do have my eyebrow raised. Anyway, I do hope that you've enjoyed this review of episode 1 of Netflix's Wednesday. I will definitely be watching the rest of the episodes depending on how it goes and giving you my very unbiased review here. If you liked today's video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more movie and TV reviews and reactions, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And for The Struggle is Real, I have been April, and I'll see you real soon. Peace!